Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anita Anand with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 11 new government medical colleges and a new campus of Central Institute of Classical Tamil tomorrow in Tamilnadu. Prime Minister to also inaugurate 25th National Youth Festival on Swami Vivekananda's Jayanti tomorrow. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia holds discussion with 120 expert doctors from across the country on COVID-19 situation. All private offices, restaurants and bars closed in Delhi to contain spread of COVID-19. Over 152 crore 89 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered so far. More than 10 lakh 50,000 people have received precaution dose on first day of rollout. CBDT extends due dates for filing of income tax returns and audit reports for assessment year 2021-22. Edible oil prices declined significantly in range of 5 and 20 rupees per kilogram in major retail markets. India successfully test-fires C-to-C variant of BrahMos cruise missile and flight tests indigenous man-portable anti-tank guided missile. Unesco's World Heritage Centre to publish Hindi descriptions of Indian sites on its website. In badminton, PV Sindhu and Kidambi Shrikant sail into the second round of India Open in Delhi. Promising Indian shuttler Ashmita Chaliha defeats 5th seed Yevgenia Kosetskaya in first round. And in cricket, third and final test match between India and South Africa underway at Cape Town. As the number of COVID-19 cases is rising rapidly in several parts of the country, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between the age group of 15 to 18 years, to get vaccinated as well. With the new Omicron variant of coronavirus causing concern, please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And other news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate 11 new government medical colleges across Tamil Nadu and the new campus of Central Institute of Classical Tamil in Chennai tomorrow. The new medical colleges are being established at an estimated cost of about 4,000 crore rupees. Of this amount, around 2,145 crore rupees has been provided by the Union government and the rest by the Tamil Nadu government. The districts in which the new medical colleges are being established are Virudhunagar, Namakkal, the Nilgiris, Tirupur, Tiruvallur, Nagapattinam, Dindigul, Kallakurichi, Ariyalur, Ramanathapuram and Krishnagiri. The new campus of the Central Institute of Classical Tamil in Chennai is fully funded by the Union government. It is built at a cost of 24 crore rupees. The Prime Minister will inaugurate the 25th National Youth Festival tomorrow in Puducherry through video conferencing. The 12th of January is the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda and is observed as National Youth Day every year. Briefing media about National Youth Festival, Secretary Youth Affairs Usha Sharma said the festival aims to shape the minds of India's youth and to transform them into a united force for nation building. In view of the emerging COVID situation, the 2-day festival has been scheduled to be held virtually. In his speech on National Youth Day in 2020, the Prime Minister had said Swami Vivekananda viewed the youth of India as a strong link to a glorious past and a grand future.
स्वामी विवेकानंद के रूप में भारत को एक ऐसी ऊर्जा मिली थी जो आज भी हमारे देश को ऊर्जावान किए हुए है। एक ऐसी ऊर्जा जो निरंतर हमें प्रेरणा दे रही है, हमें आगे का मार्ग दिखा रही है। साथियों, स्वामी विवेकानंद भारत के युवा को अपने गौरवशाली अतीत और वैभवशाली भविष्य की एक मजबूत कड़ी के रूप में देखते थे।
One of the greatest spiritual leaders of India, Swami Vivekananda introduced the world to the Indian philosophies of Vedanta and Yoga. Here is an excerpt from his famous speech at the World's Parliament of Religions held in Chicago in 1893, which made him popular in the Western world.
I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth.
Over 152 crore 89 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive in the country. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has said that over 10 lakh 50,000 beneficiaries have received precaution dose of COVID vaccine on the first day of rollout. The administration of precaution dose began across the country yesterday for healthcare and frontline workers and those over 60 years of age with comorbidities. Meanwhile, over 1,68,000 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate is currently at 96.36%. A total of 4,461 cases of Omicron have been reported in the country so far. Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia today interacted with 120 expert doctors from across the country through video conferencing and discussed the current COVID-19 situation. The Health Minister listened to their suggestions and gave related instructions. In a tweet, Mr. Mandavia said, "We will work together to fight against Corona."
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla today inspected the Parliament House complex to take stock of the health-related safety measures in view of rise in the COVID-19 cases. Mr. Birla visited the COVID-19 testing facility set up in Parliament House Annex for the Members of Parliament, officers and staff of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha secretariats. While reviewing the testing and medical facilities, he said that necessary arrangements for the 2022 budget session of Parliament are being made in order to facilitate performance of the constitutional responsibilities of Members of Parliament. He directed officials to take special care of MPs above the age of 60 years. Mr. Birla said that the situation is under control and all steps are being taken to mitigate the impact of the pandemic.
मुझे आशा है कि हम इस कोरोना संक्रमण की स्थिति के देखते हुए सभी अधिकारी कर्मचारी भी सुरक्षित रहें, हमारे माननीय सदस्य भी अपने संवैधानिक दायित्वों का ठीक से पालन कर सकें। इसके लिए संसद सारी व्यवस्थाओं को लेकर जुटी है। माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति, राज्यसभा के सभापति और मेरी चर्चा हुई है। हमने दोनों सेक्रेटरी जनरल को कहा है कि सारी व्यवस्थाओं को देखें और भविष्य की संभावनाओं को देखते हुए आवश्यक इंतजाम करें।
All private offices in Delhi will be closed with immediate effect till further orders. In its revised order, Delhi Disaster Management Authority (DDMA) said the practice of work from home shall be followed. Those offices which are falling under the exempted category will be allowed to function. All restaurants and bars in the city will also be closed. However, takeaway of food items is allowed. Delhi has reported 19,166 new COVID-19 cases and 17 deaths yesterday.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is recovering well after testing positive for COVID. A team of doctors from the Army Hospital, Delhi Cantonment, examined him at his residence in New Delhi today. The minister is currently under home quarantine. Legendary singer Lata Mangeshkar has been admitted to a Mumbai hospital after testing COVID positive. The 92-year-old singer has been diagnosed with post-COVID-19 induced pneumonia, following which she was rushed to the hospital this morning. According to Mumbai Mayor Kishori Pednekar, the legendary singer is currently in the ICU and doing fine. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai and Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. Mr. Modi wished both the leaders a speedy recovery. Prime Minister also inquired about Bharat Ratna Lata Mangeshkar's health. Veteran singer Lata Mangeshkar was hospitalized after testing positive for COVID.
Central Board of Direct Taxes has extended due dates for filing of audit reports and income tax returns for assessment year 2021-22. The Finance Ministry said in a release that this was done on consideration of difficulties reported by taxpayers and stakeholders due to COVID. The due date of furnishing of return of income for 2021-22, which was extended to the 15th of February earlier, has now been further extended to 15th of March. The due of furnishing of report of audit has now been extended to the 15th of February. The government has said that as per the trend from 167 price collection centres, the edible oil prices have declined significantly in the range of 5 rupees and 20 rupees per kilogram in the major retail markets across the country. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution in a statement said that major edible oil players including Adani Wilmar and Ruchi Industries have cut prices by 15 to 20 rupees per litre. The other players that have reduced the prices of edible oils are Gemini Edibles and Fats India, Hyderabad, Modi Naturals, Delhi, Gokul Reef Oils and Solvent, Vijay Solvex, Gokul Agro Resources and NK Proteins. The ministry said consequent upon various measures taken by the government, the duty for crude palm oil is now 7.5% and it is 5% for crude soybean oil and crude sunflower oil. The ministry added that the reduction in import duty and other steps like imposition of stock limits to curb hoarding has helped cool down domestic prices of all edible oils and granted much required relief to the consumers.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 11 new government medical colleges and a new campus of Central Institute of Classical Tamil tomorrow in Tamilnadu. Prime Minister to also inaugurate 25th National Youth Festival on Swami Vivekananda's Jayanti tomorrow. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia holds discussion with 120 expert doctors from across the country on COVID-19 situation. All private offices, restaurants and bars closed in Delhi to contain spread of COVID-19. Over 152 crore 89 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered so far. More than 10 lakh 50,000 people received precaution dose on first day of rollout. CBDT extends due dates for filing of income tax returns and audit reports for assessment year 2021-22. Edible oil prices declined significantly in range of 5 to 20 rupees per kilogram in major retail markets. India successfully test-fired C-to-C variant of BrahMos cruise missile and flight test indigenous man-portable anti-tank guided missile. Unesco's World Heritage Centre to publish Hindi descriptions of Indian sites on its website. In badminton, PV Sindhu and Kidambi Srikanth sail into the second round of India Open in Delhi. Promising Indian shuttler Ashmita Chaliha defeats fifth seed Evgenia Kotsvetskaya in the first round. And in cricket, third and final test match between India and South Africa underway at Cape Town. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back to the evening news. India today successfully tested advanced C-to-C variant of BrahMos supersonic cruise missile from INS Visakhapatnam. Defence Research and Development Organisation DRDO said the missile hit the designated target ship precisely. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has congratulated the teamwork of the Indian Navy and DRDO. The DRDO also successfully flight-tested man-portable anti-tank guided missile today. The indigenously developed anti-tank missile is a low-weight and fire-and-forget missile. The missile successfully destroyed the target during the test flight. The Defence Minister congratulated DRDO for the consistent performance of the anti-tank missile, saying that this is an important step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat in advanced technology-based defence system development. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar discussed the COVID situation with his Portuguese counterpart, Augusto Santos Silva, in a telephonic conversation today. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said the India-EU leaders meeting in Porto and migration and mobility agreement with Portugal were landmarks in 2021. He said India counts on Portugal's strong support for expanding India's relations with Europe. The minister also held a comprehensive review of bilateral ties with Poland's Foreign Minister Zbigniew Rau.
Union Minister for Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal today held a meeting with Minister of Economic Affairs Bhutan, Leonpo Loknath Sharma in New Delhi. In a tweet, Mr. Goyal said during the meeting he discussed ways to further strengthen economic ties and enhance India's role as Bhutan's development partner, especially in nurturing a robust startup ecosystem. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh today launched artificial intelligence-driven startup by IIT alumni for water purification through innovative technology. The facility aims to provide clean drinking water at a price much lesser than the market price. India has got the approval of the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, for export of Indian mangoes to USA. Consumers in the United States would now have access to quality mangoes from India. Over 1,000 metric tons of mangoes were exported to USA in 2019-20.
Unesco's World Heritage Centre has agreed to publish Hindi descriptions of India's UNESCO World Heritage Sites on its website. The permanent delegation of India to UNESCO announced this yesterday. In a tweet, Education and Skill Development Minister Dharmendra Pradhan welcomed the decision. He said that Hindi is a matter of pride for every Indian and Hindi lover. Mr. Pradhan said the popularity of Indian languages on the global stage is encouraging. On to business news. The Sensex and the Nifty today witnessed modest gains. We have a report.
BSE Sensex rose by 221 points to close at 60,617. NSE Nifty also added 52 points to settle at 18,056. In the foreign exchange market, the rupee appreciated by 13 paise to trade below 74 rupees per US dollar mark. Gold prices rose at 70 rupees. The precious metal was trading at 47,525 rupees per 10 gram. Silver prices also added 160 rupees to 60,830 rupees per kilogram. And Brent crude prices rose to around $82 a barrel in intraday trade. Arjun Chaudhary for AIR News.
The notification for the first phase of assembly polls for Uttar Pradesh will be issued on Friday. Uttar Pradesh will go to the polls in 7 phases from the 10th of February to the 7th of March. Polling for Punjab, Uttarakhand and Goa will be held on 14th of February in a single phase. Manipur will vote on 27th of February and 3rd of March in 2 phases. The counting of votes will be taken on 10th of March. In poll-bound Manipur, the number of Divyangjan has increased in the final photo electoral rolls published in last week compared with the last rolls, and they are expected to play an important role in the forthcoming state general elections. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, the Joint Chief Electoral Officer of Manipur, S. Daulat Khan, said the number of Divyangjan voters as per the final photo electoral rolls published on 5th of this month is over 14,000. Besides female voters, the Divyangjan are keen to participate in the upcoming state elections, and it could be seen in the number of voters registered this time.
Now, the total number of voters for our state is 20,34,966 voters, out of which female voters outnumber the males, and female voters is 10,49,000 approximately. Manipur continue to be tilted in favor of female voters. Also, we have over 14,000 PWD marked electors, which is a significant increase from the earlier, and it's been around some 94% increase in marking of PWD voters.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
ये जो स्वराज आया है उसे हम मजबूती से अपने पास रखेंगे ताकि कोई दूसरा हमारी तरफ टेढ़ी नजर भी उठाकर देखे तो हम उसका पूरी तरह से मुकाबला कर सकें.
In today's episode, we remember freedom fighter and second Prime Minister of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri, who died on the 11th of January, 1966. He was deeply influenced by Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi and Annie Besant, and joined the Indian independence movement in the 1920s under the guidance of Mahatma Gandhi. He led the country during the Indo-Pakistan War of 1965 and inspired the Indians with the slogans Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan.
Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan.
Lal Bahadur Shastri was born near Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. Dedicated to studies from childhood, Shastri walked many miles to his school in Varanasi without shoes, even when the streets burned in the summer heat. As he grew up, he was drawn towards the Indian independence movement. At the mere age of 11 years, he was greatly impressed by Mahatma Gandhi.
In January 1921, when Lal Bahadur was in the 10th standard and 3 months from writing the final examinations, he attended a public meeting in Banaras hosted by Gandhi and Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya. Inspired by the Mahatma's call for students to withdraw from government schools, Shastri withdrew from the school the next day and joined the non-cooperation movement. Later, he joined the Kashi Vidyapith in Varanasi. There, he came under the influence of the greatest intellectuals and nationalists of the country.
Shastri enrolled himself as a life member of the Lok Sevak Mandal founded by Lala Lajpat Rai and began to work for the betterment of the so-called lower castes under Mahatma Gandhi's direction at Muzaffarpur, Bihar. Lal Bahadur Shastri led many defiant campaigns during the civil disobedience movement and spent a total of 7 years in British jails.
When the Congress government was formed in 1946, this little dynamo of a man was called upon to play a constructive role in the governance of the country. He was appointed Parliamentary Secretary in his home state of Uttar Pradesh and soon rose to the position of Home Minister.
He moved to New Delhi in 1951 and held several portfolios in the Union Cabinet.
After the death of Jawaharlal Nehru, Shastri became Prime Minister of India on the 9th of June 1964.
हमारे सभी मतभेद एक राष्ट्र और एक देश की पृष्ठभूमि में हल होने चाहिए. आइए हम सब इसका प्रयास करें ताकि हमारे अंदर एकता हो. तो हमें ऐसे रास्ते निकालने होंगे जिनसे ज्यादा मेल जोल और बातचीत कर समझौते और शांति के साधन खोजे जा सकें. संगठन और अनुशासन से ही राष्ट्र बलवान होते हैं.
Shastri's most serious test as Prime Minister was the 1965 Indo-Pak War, and he handled the Pakistani actions with tact, firmness and a quiet determination, securing the support of political leaders, bureaucracy as well as the armed forces. He addressed the nation after the end of the India-Pakistan War, reiterating that any more aggression from Pakistan will be met with appropriate retaliation.
आज सवेरे 3:30 बजे भारत और पाकिस्तान में लड़ाई बंद हो गई. पाकिस्तान ने हमारे देश में हमलावरों को 5 अगस्त को भेजकर ये लड़ाई शुरू की थी. अब ब्लैकआउट नहीं रहेगा, अंधेरा नहीं रखा जाएगा, लेकिन ये न समझिए कि पूरी शांति हो गई. हमें गंभीरता से विचार करना है कि इस समय क्या स्थिति है और आगे क्या हो सकती है. हम तो चाहते हैं और हमारी सदा ख्वाहिश रही है कि भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच शांति रहे, लेकिन हम असलियत की ओर से भी आंखें बंद नहीं कर सकते. मैं साफ कह देना चाहता हूं कि अगर पाकिस्तान जम्मू और कश्मीर राज्य पर, जो भारत का अटूट हिस्सा है, या हमारे किसी और इलाके पर फिर से हमला करता है, तो हम उसका पूरी ताकत और मजबूती से मुकाबला करेंगे।
Shastri died in Tashkent, Uzbekistan on the 11th of January 1966, one day after signing a peace treaty to end the 1965 Indo-Pakistan War. Lal Bahadur Shastri's success lay in his approach of taking decisions based on consensus after extensive discussions. We salute the great leader.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago. On to sports. In badminton, two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu, top seed Kidambi Srikanth and world champion Loh Keen Yew of Singapore advanced into the second round of the India Open today. Sindhu defeated compatriot Sri Krishna Priya in straight games to enter the second round of women's singles event at KD Jadhav Indoor Hall in Delhi. Earlier promising Indian shuttler Ashmita Chaliha defeated Russia's fifth seed and world number 28 Evgenia Kozetskaya 24-22, 21-16 on the opening day of the Super 500 event. She would face Yael Hoyo of France in the second round. In men's singles world championship, silver medalist Kidambi Srikanth triumphed over Cyril Verma in the first round. He will take on Denmark's Kim Brun, who defeated India's Shubhankar Day in the second round. In the other men's singles match, the 24-year-old Loh Keen Yew of Singapore defeated Canada's Sheng Xiaotung in the opening round. Among other winners of the day who progressed to the next round of the tournament include mixed doubles pairings of Dhruv Kapila and N. Siki Reddy and Gayatri Gopichand Pulela and Sai Pratik K. Women's double duo of Ritika Thakkar and Simran Singh and men's doubles top seeds Muhammad Ehsan and Hendra Setiawan of Indonesia also got their campaign off to a winning start.
In cricket, India have been bowled out for 223 runs in the first innings against South Africa on the opening day of the third and final test at Cape Town. Earlier, the visitors won the toss and elected to bat. The visitors made two changes. Virat Kohli and pacer Umesh Yadav are in the team, replacing injured Hanuma Bihari and Siraj. The three-match test series is evenly poised with both teams winning a test match each.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have dense fog. Mumbai is expected to have mainly clear sky. Kolkata and Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Jammu and Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. Leh is likely to have light snow. Gilgit will have rain or snow. Muzaffarabad will have rain. Visakhapatnam will have fog in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. Kohima, Gangtok and Itanagar will have mainly clear sky. Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. From Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 11 new government medical colleges and a new campus of Central Institute of Classical Tamil tomorrow in Tamilnadu. Prime Minister to also inaugurate 25th National Youth Festival on Swami Vivekananda's Jayanti tomorrow. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia holds discussion with 120 expert doctors from across the country on COVID-19 situation. All private offices, restaurants and bars closed in Delhi to contain spread of COVID-19. Over 152 crore 89 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered so far. More than 10 lakh 50,000 people received precaution dose on first day of rollout. CBDT extends due dates for filing of income tax returns and audit reports for assessment year 2021-22. Edible oil prices declined significantly in range of 5 to 20 rupees per kilogram in major retail markets. India successfully test-fired sea-to-sea variant of BrahMos cruise missile and flight tests indigenous man-portable anti-tank guided missile. In badminton, PV Sindhu and Kidambi Srikanth sail into second round of India Open in Delhi. In cricket, third and final test match between India and South Africa underway at Cape Town. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.